Well, welcome everybody to Culture Chat, and we have a long-standing Culture Chat member, Alan, presenting today, and we're really pleased to have him back. And today's topic is creating belonging, which really is applicable to everything in life, your work, personal life. And so hopefully today you'll learn some ways to reflect on that and have some time in your breakout rooms to discuss further as well. So here's our culture chat schedule. We're every other week. So our next chat is April 29th, May 13th, and thereafter. We do take the month of August off. So just for those of you who do all that forward planning, don't worry, you won't be missing any chats in August. We're always looking for our community to share their expertise. If you're trying something out before one of your, upcoming sessions, this is a great place to get feedback from your community. And also, if you have ideas on topics, do share them with us. We're happy to try to find speakers that can touch upon things that we're all interested in. So, welcome to Culture Chat. We do have some upcoming Crossing Cultures with Competence workshop dates. So we have one in October, and then in 2027, again, forward planning in April, and then again in October. So these will run twice a year going forward in April and October. And for those of you interested in an in-person session in your area, do get in touch. I know we've had a few people reach out about hosting some specific crossing cultures or yeah, with competence workshops. So this is a train the trainer workshop. Raise your hand if you've taken the workshop. I think many of you have here. And so, they can be a resource to you as well. We have our ITech Intercultural Training Expertise International Certification. Our next deadline is May 1st. And I know Peter was hosting a workshop for those of you, a working workshop for those of you that are deep in that process and getting ready to submit. So if you're interested in jumping in on that workshop, please do get in touch with Peter. He'd be happy to add you to the group. The Interculturalist Circle. So this is where we store all of these chats. So if you miss this week or any week, feel free to jump right on in and watch the recording. And for those of you could even watch it on 1.4 speed if you wanna get right to it. There's organizations that the Interchange Institute likes to support. Families and Global Transitions is one of those. You can become a member, and we'd encourage you to do so. It's a great way to connect with community. Here's some QR codes on the screen, but they have their forum coming up, and that's the 18th through the 19th, and you can see the times there and read about that. So check that out. I know we have some FIGT members here. I served on the board as well. So if you have questions, we're happy to talk about that. And today we have, as I mentioned, we have Alan Hedblum, and he's been presenting at Culture Chat probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, many years now. But his work is really about guiding globalists across cultures. He has a strong background in language and cultural and navigating cultural barriers. So, Alan, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you're going to lead us through what I think is going to be an incredible chat here.
Well, thank you to you, Tasha, to Nick, Peter, and the rest of the Interchange Institute team for letting me share this, what is for me a profoundly important topic and really part of my work. Let me not delay and open up the. Oh, and if I could have either Peter, Tasha, Nick, or somebody monitor the chat in case people are popping up questions, because I'm a notorious monotasker. So let me open this up. Continue to share. Okay, everyone can see the screen? Lovely. Okay.
Yep.
So as Tasha mentioned, I wear many hats. I'm an interculturalist. I'm an applied linguist. But I'm here today to talk to you as the host and co-creator of an 8-year television talk show in Grand Rapids, Michigan called Feel Like You Belong. And over the course of those 8 years, we interviewed nigh on 200 people, largely immigrants, expats, refugees, asylees to the United States, and talked about how do you make a new life in a new language in a new land. Occasionally, we had US-born Americans who are helping guide newcomers to the United States. And the show is an outgrowth out of my work, and you can visit the archives. The show is no longer in production. COVID kind of shut us down, but you can visit the archives at www.feellikeyouBelong.com. Dozens and dozens of interviews from people all over the globe, some tips on American culture, American English, and American humor. There's a joke section as well. So anyway, in 2000, I was rebranding my training company, and what I and my very clever consultant came across or came upon was this notion of belonging was key, and so our tagline became "Feel like you belong." So this is really important stuff to me. For those of you who were alive and watching network television in the 1990s, there was a very popular sitcom uh, called Cheers. Show of hands for people who know this, either when it was live or in rerun. Any people who recognize this television show? The theme song went like this. Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Oh, Alan, we're having a hard time hearing it. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, Tasha, were you saying something? Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't hear, but I know you wanted to. Yes, Melissa, we probably could sing it. Sometimes
Oh,
I want to go where everybody knows your
What's
name.
your name? Boom, 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 boom.
and they're always glad
Always
you
glad you
came.
came.
So
You want to be
basically,
where
well, go ahead, Nick,
troubles
knock it
are
out.
all the same.
So this is the cast of Cheers on and the photo, and the fellow in the lower left of the photo, his name is Norm, and during the week he's an accountant, and he's kind of he's lovable but kind of a schlub, and I think he's not making a big impression in the world, and I think he's a little downtrodden. Uh, but as soon as he flings open the doors to his local watering hole at Cheers, people shout out, Norm, come have a seat. And Woody, the bartender, pours him his draft beer, and there you are. They know him, he's welcome there, and he belongs there. So, so I want to talk a little bit about belonging in the workplace, because I think this is really important for so many of us in the work that we are doing, helping folks in their new locations, in the companies they're working in. And research has shown that there are three reinforcing attributes to belonging. The first is feeling comfortable, that you are treated fairly, that you are treated with respect. Second, that you have a kind of connection with people at work, that you feel strongly related with your coworkers. And then finally is the sense of contribution, that knowing that when you're going into work and working with these other people, that what you're doing makes a difference. And so keeping those three features in mind, we'll take those thoughts into our breakout rooms in just a few minutes. At the bottom, you will notice this is my personalized license plate in Michigan. I ordered this from the Secretary of State after we started the TV show in 2013. So, where is belonging for you is the question I want you to start thinking about. So for some people, especially here in Latin America, where I'm located right now, family is profoundly important, is profoundly powerful, keeps you grounded, and there's this unquestioned sense that yes, indeed, you belong there. For some of you, it may be your neighborhood. When you turn the corner and go into your neighborhood, you say, yes, this is, these are my people. I love where I live. Others, you may belong to a book club that gives you identity. You may belong to an advocacy organization. For those of you who belong to a house of worship, there's a sense of calm, of peace, of acceptance. Others of you may belong to an affinity group. Maybe it's your old gang of high school buddies. Others of you may do volunteering in the community and find both purpose and a sense of yes, that's where you're supposed to be. I'm just curious. There are a bunch of yellow lines that have appeared on my screen. Are they showing up on yours?
Nope, you're looking good. Oh,
Okay.
wait. Yeah, definitely have. I'm sorry. I'm seeing them
Yeah,
now, but they're
if
not
you,
distracting to me.
yeah, I think it's okay. If you click on the left, there's like a little pencil looking thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think yours, it must be highlighted, so you can unhighlight it or just hit the X. It's not really too distracting though, Alan. We're good.
Okay. Very good. Um, and my slides are not. Okay, so we're about to jump into our first breakout room, and I want you to share with the folks in your room, where is it that you feel welcome? Where is it that you are comfortable? Where are you safe? Where is one powerful belonging space for you? And why? How does that happen there? What are the components that go into creating that safety, that belonging for you? And I just want to say that for many of us, the most important part of the culture chat is not listening to some boring talking head or talking head bloom, but having a chance to share conversation with your peers. And so do take a minute to introduce yourselves and give a sense of your context before jumping into answering these questions. And Nick, take it away.
In Michigan. Hey, we're
Yes.
back. Alan, let's move. What you got?
Okay, so I have a screen here that says breakout rooms not started. Do I just close that screen? Oh,
Just
Yeah.
close it, ignore it. Yep.
ignore it. Very good. Okay, so welcome back, everybody, from the breakout. I hope you had some good conversations. Um, Before we go on, I have one slide to share with you, and I just added this in the last 24 hours. A colleague and co-conspirator of mine from West Michigan, Deanna Rolfs, who has a training company called L3 Catalyst Group. She posted a blog post on her website, Leading for Belonging. And there's a URL there. I think it would give you lots of food for thought, some theoretical stuff, and some personal philosophical stuff about belonging. And I thought that might be useful, and I just threw that slide in there yesterday. So, before we talk about belonging, I'd like to have a quick conversation about unbelonging. Oh, and by the way, can everyone see the entire slide? Because the right side of my slide is obfuscated by a row of handsome faces.
We see a
Good
group
looking.
of one-line drawings of people chatting, and then Dr. Zhao over on the side.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, this is decades ago. I was working with a Fortune 50 company in Michigan, and they hired this brilliant material scientist, PhD scientist from China. And Dr. Zhao came to Michigan, and the week of his arrival, they scheduled a reception in the science and technology or R&D building. And we've all been to receptions, and for The introverts among us, uh, this is a moment of like, lump in your throat. Okay, steel myself. Let me wade into the melee here. And so you know the scene, people standing around, sipping their beverage, snacking on the hors d'oeuvres, talking, laughing. And so Dr. Zhao came to the reception area, stepped into the door, stood there, and took in all of the people talking and laughing and sipping. And Dr. Zhao stood there by the door. And people were talking and laughing. And there stood Dr. Zhao by the door. And he's not from the United States. English is not his first language. A US American is not his first culture. What do I do in the reception? And he stood there by the door. And the reason I share this story, I worked with this brilliant scientist 3 decades ago, and it stays with me. It's still emotionally on my heart because at times we've all been a fish out of water. And what if nobody comes up to you? What if nobody acknowledges you? And so I want you to keep that thought in mind as we go forward.
Ellen, can I just jump in real quick? One of the things that when we work with students, and we're teaching about belonging, one of the things we say is, part of cultural competence is understanding that what is coming into a room and seeing that person by themselves, but then also being able to evaluate, does that person want their own space? Maybe they're reading a book, maybe they don't want to be interrupted, but it's also understanding that maybe that person also needs to be invited as well. So that's something that when we're working with children, we're focused on as integrating.
Awesome. Thanks, Tasha. So the television show that we did, Feel Like You Belong, we interviewed, as I said, dozens and dozens and dozens of folks, all having their own powerful stories. And just of these 4 snapshots, I'll just share ever so briefly 2 of these. In the upper left is Bingoy, a local now retired entrepreneur in West Michigan. He and his family moved to Michigan when he was 10 years old in 1960 from Indonesia. He's ethnically Chinese, but when the communists took over Indonesia, they fled to West Michigan, where there were very few Chinese families or Indonesian families. And his dad was an experienced teacher, credentialed, lots of experience, and applied for a job with the local schools. They gave him a job, but they started him off at a beginning teacher's salary. Well, this man had 6 kids, a wife to support, and that wasn't going to cut it. And he just felt that was profoundly unfair. Well, happily, another person who found that profoundly unfair was then Congressman Gerald R. Ford, who went to the schools and said, no, look, this man deserves his due. You're going to have him examined by the licensing board in Lansing, Michigan, state capital. And if he passes all the requirements, you're going to pay him what he's due. And that happened. Mr. Goy's dad got that deserved raise in salary and raised his kids. His kids all grew up to thrive in West Michigan and had a chance to hear that story. In the lower right, you'll see Susan Im. She's second generation immigrant. Her parents are from South Korea, born in Chicago, but in her early childhood moved to Traverse City, way in the north of Michigan, where her family was one of 2 Asian families. The other family was the one that owned the Chinese restaurant. And they were driving down the road one summer day, pulled up to a stoplight, pickup truck rumbles up next to them, rolled down the window, and some North Michigander shouted out the window, "Chinks go back to China." Well, in addition to being insulted, 10-year-old Susan said those people are just stupid because we're not even Chinese. That's an ethnic slur for Chinese there. We're Korean. you dummies. And so I want you to start thinking about belonging and creating belonging and and how that happens for every individual. Maciek Biejumski was a magician in Poland, had a long-term correspondence, pen pal correspondence, long before email. So this is US mail, back and forth with a woman in West Michigan. Eventually, he visited her. They fell in love in person, got married. He lives in West Michigan today. And when I asked him about belonging, he said, every summer here in Holland, Michigan, we have an outdoor fair. And I have a spot on 8th Street here in Holland, Michigan. And I perform my live shows in front of people. And I have a chance to connect with people. This is not my first culture, but this is a chance for me to connect with, no pun intended, the magic that I do in my life. And so every time I drive by 8th Street, I just smile and say, this is my place. We interviewed Jenny Young, who is the Director of Advocacy and Policy for World Relief, and it's a faith-based organization. And so for Jenny and her colleagues, creating belonging is a moral imperative. And so that's a whole other take on what it means to belong. I don't know how many of you are fans of barbecuing, but so a lot of Americans, they slap some dogs and burgers on the grill, flip them over, psh, psh, 10 minutes, and okay, drag it back inside the house and eat it. Well, that is grilling. That is not barbecue. And one cultural group that understands this very well is the Brazilians. And they have well, I lived in Brazil. I've attended a barbecue, and the master griller is standing there with tongs and knives and everything. And there's a parade of various meats that come out, including different cuts of beef, but also chicken hearts and all kinds of stuff that. And then the people are standing around while the grill master grills. And you're talking and laughing and drinking and tasting because the grill master is slicing off little pieces and handing them out. Well, there's one cut of meat, a special cut of meat that they do in Brazil, butchers in Brazil do, called picanha. And American butchers and cow cutters up don't do this cut. But a friend of mine, Paulo, went into this. This is not a large town, the one of the local butcher shops, and said, "Hey, we're a large Brazilian community here, and we have this cut of meat that we can't find at Meyer or Kroger or Safeway." And the owner listened, and instead of just saying, "Sorry, bud, we don't cut it that way," he figured out a way to source this cut of meat. And so now anytime there's a Brazilian barbecue, they know if they go to Lalonde's market, they can get their picanha for their barbecue. I talked with a Chinese professor at Grand Valley State University, and in West Michigan, they have a Chinese Culture Association and language school for the kiddos Saturday morning, so the kids can keep up with their parents' language while living in the US. And they decided to take on, through Michigan Department of Transportation and the Adopt a Highway program, 2 miles of roadway in West Michigan. And so 4 times a year, this crew of Chinese immigrant folks are out there with their yellow vests and garbage bags and picking up trash. And the professor told me, he said, every time I drive by this stretch of roadway, I say, this is our place. This is what we're responsible for. This is our community involvement. And a last personal story, in my neighborhood, shortly after Vladimir Putin rolled into Ukraine, someone in our neighborhood put up a Ukrainian flag at their house. Unbeknownst to them, 2 weeks later, another family in the neighborhood took in a Ukrainian refugee mom and her 9-year-old daughter. And in later talking to Bogdana about this, she said they were just overcome with emotion that there would be these people, strangers, who would be, supporting them and saying, welcome, you belong here. And finally, I need a show of hands. How many of you are familiar with and or fans of Ted Lasso on Apple TV? So, okay, so lots of hands. If not, highly recommend it. Apple TV is a subscription, so I take their bargain introduction, for $9.99 a month, and then binge watch it, and then cancel your subscription if you like. Incredibly warm, motivating, and often very funny. Anyway, Ted Lasso is about an American soccer and or football coach coaching a Premier League team in London. And Leslie Higgins, you pictured on the left, is the director of football operations for Richmond. And he and his wife normally invite players who don't have a place to go for Christmas holiday back to their home countries. So many international players to their house. Normally they get 2 players taking them up on that. But in the turn of the sense of camaraderie and belonging and we're all in this together, he puts out the annual invitation and a dozen of them show up at his house. So many so that they have to extend the dining room table with, you can see that blue dot in the middle. It's a surfboard that his son got as a Christmas present. Anyway, in the middle of the festivities, Leslie Higgins stands up and makes a toast. And he recognizes everyone who's there. And for you folks who cannot be with your families, if you're from Benin City, from Montreal, from Santa Cruz de la Sierra, from Cordon, from Lagos, from Groningen, from Kingston, from Harare, from Guadalajara, I said, you are welcome here. Profoundly touching moment. And he didn't have to do all of that, but as a leader, he did that. And so lovely sense of belonging. Jumping into our next breakout room, we're going to do 8 minutes. And I want you to think about who is responsible for creating belonging. Is it you? Are you the individual? Is it your job to take that on? Is it your peers? Is it your team at work? Is everyone around you responsible for doing that? And then finally, maybe it's the big dudes upstairs, your supervisors, your boss, the CEO. Is it their responsibility for creating belonging? So jump in, talk about belonging and possibly what one individual could do or in your experience has done to create belonging. Again, good. Welcome back, everyone. So in the 9 minutes that we have left, who has a profound observation from your conversation breakout? Syed.
Well, hopefully Syed has something to say.
Nick, that doesn't happen that often. I did keep my mouth shut on the first round, but it never open question answer anyway. Well, I was thinking, Ellen, of your question, and my first answer came to my mind. It's a trick question because the answer is none of the above. I worked for a large corporation, ExxonMobil, for 35 years. No one ever said who has a responsibility to create the belonging. That is the company culture. These are all the trainings you get, all the processes you have to follow, all the protocols you do, all kinds of sets, rules, and procedures are there. They organically create a sense of belonging. The stronger the company culture, the stronger sense of belonging. Even today, if you ask anyone who worked for ExxonMobil, what do you like about the most? always the answer is the people, the people, the people, how smart they are, how intelligent they are. But all kinds of stuff was created, like we need to have group lunches, we need to have outdoor activity that often, we work with each other. So the question in my mind never came, do I have a sense of belonging? Because it was there organic.
Well, belonging doesn't exist organically in the world. So what I would say is that top down, somebody decided, no, this is the way we're going to do business here, and create. This is the culture we will create here. So, in that regard, someone has to set the standard, and hooray for those leaders at the company who did that.
Correct, correct. So that's the company culture that got created. But your three items were you, your team, or your supervisor. None of us took that responsibility, but it all happened. I'm still in touch with so many of those people. We even have a retirement clubs we go to. We want to have a get together at a beer, whatever they make, brewery every month without any announcement. 40, 50, 60 old people like me show up and we drink beer and reminisce about old days.
Awesome. Brigitte, you have a question or an observation?
Yes, I do believe I come from the mindset of all of the answers are correct, and maybe all of the answers are not correct. But first and foremost, I come from the mindset of if the belonging in the organization is not there because leadership did not do a great job in creating and installing a company culture, then it starts with me. May I be an employee? May I be an outside trainer? It starts with me to create that safe space. It starts with me to start the conversation, to be interested, to lean in, to be interested in the other person. And that's the beginning of it. No matter if the supervisor or the C-level executives have installed the core values and the company cultures, because then that would be a quick way out for me to go, well, they haven't created a safe space. They haven't created a company culture. So why should I do it? No, it starts with me. That's the mindset that I come from.
So, because the organizer of the reception didn't think that we need to have somebody take care of Dr. Zhao standing there by the door, you would have been that person to walk up and say, "Hey, come on in. Let me introduce you to some neat people."
I probably would have not said, "Hey, come in." I probably would have just went to him and said, "Hi, my name is Brigitte," because he might have been very comfortable standing where he's standing, because that's part of belonging too, allowing the person where they're at. But just leaning in, be interested in the person and see where it leads you, and not forcing them to, oh, I need you to belong to everyone else.
Mhm. Awesome. Jyoti, you have a comment.
Um, yeah, as mentioned by many others here, I would just like to sum it up. You want to feel that you belong to a team. So when the term team comes here, then it becomes a team effort. So not only the supervisors, your colleagues, your peers, and you yourself as an individual, you all have to put in equal of effort, or at least some effort, to have that feeling of belonging. If everyone else is putting in that effort and as an individual you aren't, then you won't feel the sense of belonging, and vice versa. So I feel, yeah, it is a team effort to feel belongingness, to feel that you're a part of that team, and them to feel that you are feeling the same. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
I see a hand raised by Ksenia. Is that how I say your name?
Yeah, everything is fine. Ksenia. Hello, everyone. I wanted to share my personal example experience I had when I went to Poland. Well, I'm from Ukraine, and when the war started, my daughter and me, we went to Poland. And it was the first day there. And of course, I was trying to understand what was happening. New apartment, where to buy food, like a lot of thoughts. And then I heard a knock on my door. Of course, I didn't know anybody there, and it was really strange to hear that sound. I thought that somebody probably made a mistake. Well, anyway, I opened the door, and there was a Polish woman with two boys. These boys, probably 5-year-old guys, they were holding toys. And this lady, she was holding cookies. And she was speaking something. She was speaking Polish. And for me, it was a blah, 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 blah. And I was, oh my goodness, I don't understand anything. And then she started crying, and she just handed these cookies and these toys to me. And then I got it. She simply understood that I was from Ukraine. I am a refugee, and she wanted to support me. And yeah, she was the first person who actually took this step to me. And it was really, really precious. I can't say that Poland became my second home, probably Krakow. Yeah, it was really special, and it is still special. Yeah, but I had Toastmaster sessions there, and people there are amazing. It was so super to feel their support. So yeah, I guess our own inner decision to support somebody, if we feel that this person needs this support, not to be an intruder, like, hey, I feel that you need it. Well, it's precious. So yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. That's a powerful story. I saw Summer had her hand up, but I think she went away because she's leading a webinar in 1 minute. Anyone else with the last thought?
Well, Alan, I'm still here. I would
Oh,
not.
you are okay.
Still
You're
here, don't worry.
multitasking.
I'm still here. It's recorded. Well, I just want to say it's a team effort in every possible way, because we see people travel and to pursuing a career in a different country. They keep their head down. They want to finish their assignment and they want to go back. This is a very sad thing. And we see companies, they just also want to make sure that their team is working the way the strategy is, which is of course crazy because we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Then last but not least, we find individuals and locals or nationals who do not do any kind of effort to help expats coming to their country. But I have to say where I'm based now is the place where I've seen lots of people helping each other, because it's just 10% of the population are the nationals. So this is one of the places where you always see expats helping each other. And that's why I say it's not the effort is not lying on one group only or one individual. It's aligned. It has to be aligned between the company and the sense of belonging. It is something that it has to be between everyone who is in this place, in this new place. Sometimes you feel a stranger. I'm an TCA, so I've been moving from one place to another, and I would say as an individual, it also a matter of age. As we grew older, we start looking for different things. My rules of belonging, or what I decide to do, my effort, my strategy of belonging when I was 25 was completely different than at this age, and I'm not saying my age. So it's really different. It's really different. I'm looking for different things to belong in the country where I live in now.
I think that's right, Summer. Like we different stages of life, we need different things. And I posted in the chat, but I do believe, you know, belonging is an active process. You have to be someone who engages and you have to be able to you know, be a part of it, not just look to receive. Alan, thank you so much for today's culture chat. It's always a pleasure. Belonging is something I know many of us think about often. Please get in touch if you have other culture chat topics you'd like us to discuss, and we're happy to continue to build those out. But if we could all just give Alan a little round of applause. Thank you, Alan. And everyone, have a super fantastic week, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.